Breer of Sports Illustrated thinks that number would be, on a one-year deal, would be about $15 million. Does that sound right to you?
I mean, if that's the ballpark and he's willing to take that, I think that's a really good deal for the Browns. They're paying Olivier Vernon $15 million. I don't know if that would change what they would do with Olivier Vernon, but I think that would be a great deal for the Browns.
What does it mean by prolonging it as long as both sides have done it? Is that good for the Browns, bad for the Browns, good for Jadeveon? What's the story?
I think it's good for the Browns because it just means that price is going to stay steady. Nobody out there is willing to give him that $20 million that an elite pass rusher usually garners when they hit free agency or when they sign an extension. So I think the longer it goes, the more likely it is he's just going to have to settle on something and some kind of prove it deal.
He's going to have to settle for $15 million. That's a nice settle.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
All right, according to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, Jadeveon Clowney's situation continues to be complicated. I think it's of note that the Browns are willing to pay a good rate. I've heard that they'd be okay going to the 50. And there you have it, Albert Breer. That tells me a couple of things. One, Clowney's financial desire is still a barrier to getting a deal done. And two, those desires may come on a sliding scale based on destination. He's still fast and big and long, and he can change the direction and track people down whenever he wants to. There's another name that's Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. And it's a name, I think it's a name that would, other than a position that he would take from a current Browns player, I think it's one that would get the Browns, his teammates, if they become teammates. I think it would be exciting for those guys to have him around him. I mean, just imagine what that defensive line would look like with Myles Garrett along with Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, players know who Jadeveon Clowney is. Yeah. They remember that hit he had in college. They remember him as the #1 pick. And this is a guy that put up some numbers when he was in Houston. And the sack numbers always haven't been huge, but he's good against the run. And I think that's actually a good compliment to Myles Garrett to have a guy on the other side who's really stout against the run, because that's one area where Garrett really hasn't established himself.
Dan Lobby from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer